Hi, I'm Professor Pi, and I'm at Woodstock. Woodstock was a little rock concert on a little farm, Woodstock, New York. It got a little carried away. How far is it from Hayti to Woodstock? Is there a way to find that out? Yeah, what you first do is you ask Google and you search it, and it'll tell you, but that's not what I want. When we find distance, we have two formulas here. When we find it on the coordinate plane, we have these formulas. We're going to take the x minus the x and square them, the y minus the y and square them, and then we will take the square root of all that after we add them, and I'll do a couple examples in a second. The midpoint may be the easier one, and here we're going to average x1 and x2 and y1 and y2, divide by 2, and it's a point, so we're going to put it into the parentheses. Let me start with midpoint, might be the easier one. There's the midpoint formula, but let me get some points here. First of all, do I need points? You've been averaging things since second and third grade. If you made a 90 on one test and an 80 on another test, your test average is an 85. How'd you get that? You added them up and divided by 2. And that's what I'm going to do here with the midpoint. Let's get a couple points. Let's get 5, 4, and let's get 7, 6, and we'll start out really easy. The x coordinates are the first ones. X is first, y is second. X is first, y is second. So we're going to take the two x coordinates. We're going to add them together. 5 plus 7. And we're going to take the two y coordinates. 4 plus 6. And we're going to divide each of these by 2. Let's see, 5 and 7 are 12, divided by 2 is 6. So now we've got 5 plus 7 divided by 2. We've got 4 plus 6 divided by 2. So our answer, 5 plus 7 divided by 2 is 6. 6. And 4 plus 6, or 10 divided by 2 is 5. 6, 5 would be the midpoint. It's the midpoint, which is also your average. And you've done average for quite a while. Some of you could take all your A's and put them in this column and average them up and know that if you had all A's on all the tests, you must have an A in the class. And I'm probably not going to do the illustration with the D's and F's in this class, but some of you have made that average. Let's try it again. Let's get 2 points that are 0, 4, 0, 4, and let's get minus 3, minus 3, 17. Now, what do we do? First thing we do is take the x's. The x's, we're going to add them up. 0, minus 3. We're going to divide it by 2. And we get our answer, minus 3/2. And feel free to leave it like that. I don't care that that's minus 1.5. You can make it improper. You can make it mixed. If you had a calculator, you could make it negative 1.5. But my rule usually is leave it with the least amount of work. If it came out improper, leave it improper. Now let's get the y coordinates. It's going to be 4 plus 17. And we're going to divide that by 2. Four plus 17 is 21. 21 divided by 2. 21/2 would work, but for some of you, you want 10.5. That's my point. That point is halfway between. Ask yourself, is 10.5 halfway between 4 and 17? Is minus 2/3 halfway between 0 and minus 3? That's how we do the midpoint. That's the midpoint. And if we wanted to get on a map and make the midpoint between Woodstock and Hayti, we could do that on a map with the midpoint formula without having to worry about asking Google. Here's the distance formula. Let me start with the easy one. Let's make one of the distances 0. That is, my points now 0, 0. And my second point will be 5, 7. Now, you take the x's and subtract them. 0 minus 5. Then you take the y's and subtract them. 0 minus 7. Then the formula up here says we're going to square them. When you square them, the minus signs disappear. Minus 5 squared is 25, right? Minus squared is 25, and minus 7 squared would be 49. So now we've squared them. Then we have to add them together. 49 plus 25 is equal to 74. Then the formula says we have to take the square root of them. A lot of times on my word processor, the square root looks like this. The square root of 74 is our answer. Now, if it came out the square root of 81, tell me that you know that's 9. If it came out the square root of 25, tell me that you know that's 5. The square root of 74 is irrational. It goes on and on forever. If you need it, we'll get a calculator out. But on a test or a quiz, the right answer is the square root of 74. Let's go back and make a couple points. This time, let's see if we can get some. Minus 2, 4, and 1, 5. Now we're going to take the x's. That's the first one. We're going to subtract them. Minus 2 minus 1. We're going to take the two y's and subtract them. That would be 4 minus 5. Now, minus 2 and minus 1 is minus 3, negative 3. 4 subtract 5 is negative 1. Now the formula says we square these. When we square them, minus 3 times minus 3 is a plus 9. Minus 1 times minus 1 is 1. Add those up together. That equals 10. That equals 10. And then we're going to take the square root of that. So our answer is the square root of 10. And once again, the square root of 4 might be 2 and the square root of 1 might be 1. The square root of 10 is 3 point something. So you can leave that alone. If you have a calculator and want to give me the first two digits, that's fine. Now that's how you use the distance formula. What happens? Let's try one more example. Let's make everything negative. Now, just because the coordinates are negative, a line still has distance. There's no such thing as a negative line. I wouldn't know how to show you what a negative line looks like. If I have a line segment between these two fingers, there's a distance, a positive distance between them. But let's try with all negative numbers. Let's try minus 2, comma, minus 5, and let's try minus 6, comma, minus 9. We're going to subtract the x's. The x's are the first one. That's minus 2 minus a minus 6. And then our y's, minus 5 minus a minus 9. And many of you know now that two minus signs in here become one plus sign. So here I have, on the next line, I would have negative 2 plus 6. And here I would have negative 5 plus 9. This is 4. And surprise, surprise, this is also 4. We add them together. We get 8. And our answer is square root 8. I've given you several exercises. I'm going to give you a video. We're going to show that video here in class. You see it at home. It's a video of Shoop and distance formula. Then please complete the following assignment.